Hey guys, Sak here from sakitech, and in today's video we are going to be sharing the first 25 things to do on your iPhone 16 Pro Max or your iPhone 16. So let's dive in and tweak this phone so you can maximize your ownership of your brand new iPhone. So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to go to your settings, and this is very crucial. You want to go to your battery, okay? And then tap on battery health right here and make sure it says battery health is normal. The maximum capacity must be 100% if it is a brand new phone. And the cycle count should say 0 again if you just unboxed it. If this says 98%, that says 2, then you do not have a brand new phone. So what you want to do is you want to return that phone and get a replacement. Again, this only applies to brand new phones that you just unboxed. And you can see right here we have the manufacturing date and also the first use date, as you can see. Alright, so that's number one. Number two, let's talk about the brand new camera control. The new button that you find on the side of the iPhone to control your camera and see everything that it can do. Now before I actually launch the camera, I do want you guys to go to your settings. And then I want you to scroll down to where it says camera. When you tap on it, you can make some modifications to your camera control button. So if I tap on this one, you can see I can disable and enable the clean preview option. I can launch the camera with a single click or a double click. So single click would be this, okay? And if I do double click right here, now I have to double tap it to launch the camera. So that's one modification you can make to the camera control button. And if you want, you can change it from camera to a code scanner, that is the QR code scanner, or you can launch the magnifier, or as you can see, you can tap on none and nothing will launch, so that camera button will be useless if you don't like it. So those are some camera control options built in, but let's look at what it can do in the actual camera app. Alright, so by default with the camera control button, you tap it once, you press it once, and that's going to bring up the actual camera. And of course, if you press the button, that takes a photo. Now, if you press the button lightly, that brings up the control that allows you to slide back and forth between different controls. And of course, you have access to several one of these. So basically, if I want to change what I want to control with this slider action, all I do is slightly double tap. So look at this. So now I can go from styles to camera. I can go to zoom. I can go to my depth setting. I can go to exposure setting. If I want to use this, I press it slightly. Now I'm inside the exposure and I can change. Again, press slightly. It remembers where you are. And now you can change the exposure, as you can see. If I want to go back to something else, again, double press lightly, swipe over, that's depth, that is zoom. Let's go in here. Now I can zoom in and zoom out with the slider, okay? Again, press lightly, and now double press lightly, and now I can go to cameras, I can go to styles, I can go to tone. Again, if I press it lightly, I can change the tone, as you can see. Okay, so that's what the button is allowing you to do. It is basically literally a camera control button and nothing else. Fantastic option. Now with the camera control button, there is a hidden feature that allows you to tweak that camera control button to fit your needs. So let's show you that. Go to settings and then scroll down and go to accessibility. Okay, and then scroll down again and go to camera control right here. So when I tap on this guy, I can actually turn off the camera control button completely if I don't want it, okay? I assume most people will want to use it. So you can make some adjustments to the firmness of the button press. So basically, if you just want to light tap for the camera to launch and take photos, you can keep it at light. And you can test the lightness by tapping here. So look at this. If I press it, you see, you get an animation right here showing you that is all you have to do. That's a very light press, by the way. Or I can go to firmer and I can test that again. Now I have to really press it in to use the camera button. And then after you have set this up, let me just keep it at default. You can also change the speed of the double press. So remember, you double tap lightly to bring up the controls or the options. So you can tell the phone, I want to do my double tap very slowly or super slowly. Again, you want to play with these and set them the way you want them. So that's the camera control hidden menu. Alright guys, so there's a couple things you want to be aware of in relation to the camera that is new with the iPhone. So I'm going to launch the camera, okay? And the first thing I want to talk about is the new color styles that allow you to customize your photos with great detail. So basically there's a button on the top, you can tap on it, and that's going to bring up the color styles. These are basically like Instagram filters, but much more high quality. So first and foremost, you can swipe between them after you press the button, okay? And you can get the details about the tone, color, and palette. And then for each one of these styles, you have this slider that you can use to make modifications. This is for people that want to play around and get the best shots with the best color tone based on your needs. Okay, so again, you can swipe between all these options, and each option has its own little slider over here. And then at the bottom, you also have the intensity meter. Okay, so after you make the modification, you can also adjust the intensity of that particular filter, and then boom, you take a photo. So that's great. The other thing I want you guys to know that's very important with the camera is if you go to the video to record a video, on the top you are going to see it says HD, which is 1080p at 60 frames per second. You can tap on these to switch between 1080p and 4K. As you can see, just tap on it. And if you want to change the frames per second, you can tap on the number, and you can go to 120, you can go to 24, you can go to 30, whatever. And also, if I go to my settings right here, and if I go over to my camera right over here, I want you guys to make sure that the grid and level is enabled. That's going to give you this thing right here, this grid and this level, so you can better align your shots. So make sure those are enabled. Now, one more thing that's very important is the iPhone 16 Pro Max has a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera. So let's go to that camera right now and look at this. When I take a photo, by default, this photo is only going to be 12 megabytes. So what if you want to use the full 48 megapixels for maximum quality? What you do is you go to your settings right over here, settings, go into the camera, and then go to formats and enable resolution control. Enable this and then go to Pro Default and then choose HEIF Max right over here. That's 48 megapixels. Now when I go back into my camera, look at what happens. It has a new button on the top. So when I tap on it, HEIF Max is enabled. Now when I take a photo, look at what happens. If I go over here and if I swipe up, I have a 48 megapixel shot. So I get the best quality. So I can do it for the ultra wide, or I can do it for the standard. I have the HEIF Max right there. I do recommend keeping this off, but turning it on when you specifically want a high quality image, maybe even for printing. So that's that. All right, the next thing I want to be talking about has to do with the ability to lock any apps that you don't want other people to be able to access. So let's say that you don't want people to access the App Store right over here. All you do is you press and hold, and it's going to bring up this menu, and you tap on Require Face ID. Now, when you tap on this, you can either scan your face, so I'm going to tap right here, or if you don't scan your face, it's going to bring up the PIN number, okay? So you can put the PIN number or use your Face ID to lock that application. Now look at this. If I try to launch this application, it is going to say Face ID required. If it doesn't detect the face, which my face is a little back so it's not seeing it, I just put in my PIN number, and that is going to allow me to access the App Store. So you can lock any application that you want that is supported. On top of that, if you have certain applications, let's say a third-party application like YouTube, if I press and hold on this one, I can require Face ID, and I can also hide and require. So that's going to hide the application and require Face ID. So let me show you what that's going to look like. So if I tap on this one, again, in this case, it's going to ask me to put my PIN number in. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, and look at this. It says, do you want to hide the application? You say, yes, I want to hide it. That application is hidden. So now to access it, you go all the way over to your app library, and then you scroll down, and they are going to be right in here. Your hidden applications will be housed in here. Of course, you will need your Face ID. When you tap it, it is going to ask for your Face ID. If your face is not available, like in my case, you tap on Try Face ID again, and then it's going to bring up the PIN number as long as you tap and enter passcode, okay? And then it'll show up the hidden application. But as soon as you exit, it disappears again. It hides again. So a great way to lock applications, and some of them you can even hide. All right, let's move on. Now, one more great feature is you no longer have to press and hold the volume down and power button to turn off your phone. You now have a software button. So when I pull the control center down, you can press and hold on this power button right here, and that is going to bring the actual slide to power off button, which is very convenient to have. Now, in relation to this, I'm going to show you one more thing. If you go to your settings, and if you go to accessibility, and then if you scroll down to audio and visual, right here there's an amazing little hidden feature. It says power on and off sound. So look at this. It is turned on right now, and when I power off my device, let me press and hold, let go, you're going to hear a little beep that indicates that I turned off the device. Normally, it is 100% silent, but now it is going to make a sound. So here's the microphone. I'm going to slide it, tap on OK. Okay, you just heard that noise. Now I'm going to turn on the iPhone, and you are going to hear the turn on noise. So again, here's the microphone. Press and hold the power button, and you just heard that little noise. So another way to add a nice effect to your smartphone to get some actual feedback. Now, next up, let's talk about customizing the control center, which is this thing right here. Now, first and foremost, if you pull from this side, it will bring up your notifications. If you pull from this area right here, it will bring down the control center. The control center has your controls here. If you swipe over, you've got your music controller. If you swipe over, you've got your connectivity controllers. All this stuff is customizable. So let's say I want to customize this area right here. All I do is either tap on plus right here or press and hold right here. And you can see I have the customization area. Now the first thing you can do is with any one of these toggles that have this little symbol right here, you can take that and you can make it bigger based on your needs. Now you don't have to make it that big. It looks like it is not even necessary. But if I go like this, you can see that is pretty cool. And I can also move stuff from area to area based on where I want it to be. And if I want to add a control, I tap on add a control, okay? And I can select any one of these controls. So let's say I want to add the stopwatch, tap. Now I have the stopwatch, which went right here. And again, I can put that anywhere and I can resize it, no problem, based on my needs, okay? If you want a button that is bigger because you access all the time, that's great. That's one thing you can do. You can move and add everything, okay? Now, if I swipe over, here's my music. Look at this. I can even make this smaller and make room for additional controls. I can also swipe over and I can make this smaller or just remove it entirely. And then I have access to a new page. So right now, I have this first page, this page. If I swipe up, that's all I get, okay? Look at how things have changed. Now, if I press and hold, like I said, I can add a new page, which is right here. And just to give you an example, if I tap on Add Control, and I'm going to bring up my connectivity menu, which is this thing right here. Now, if I tap on this, I can make it bigger. And that is my connectivity menu that I just removed earlier, but now I have it back. Now there's also one more amazing trick in here. So if I come over here as an example, press and hold, I can put a shortcut to any app that I want. So I can have apps in here. So look at this, add a control and then search for shortcut. Okay, it is right here, but you want to tap on open app. So tap on open app and then select an application. Let's just say the files application. Now, if I tap over here, I have a link to the files application, and that way I can put a link to any application that I want. That is quite fantastic. Okay, so that's the customizable control center. And if I go to my settings, you can tap over here and you have a menu dedicated to the control center, which doesn't have too much happening here, but you do have this one option right here, just so you know. The next thing I want to show you guys has to do with your lock screen. There are some new changes to the lock screen. So if I go to the lock screen, let's go out here and double tap to wake up, you'll see we have these two shortcuts at the bottom that previously were not customizable. Now they are. So basically what you want to do is you want to double tap here to wake it up and then look at the phone to unlock it. Let me do that right now. So it is unlocked, press and hold, and that's going to bring up the customization area. Now look at this. If I tap on customize, I can tap on lock screen, and now I can remove these shortcuts at the bottom. And then when I tap it again, I can pick a new shortcut that I need. So let me just keep the flashlight on this side. And on this side, I don't need the camera anymore because I have the camera button now. So let's just say, as an example, I just want the dark mode. Okay, that's the option that I can have on this side. Or you can link to any application. So if I tap it again, I can scroll over to my shortcuts and link to any application that I want. Tap on app, choose the application, and now it's right there. Okay, fantastic. Other things you can do here is obviously tap on this one, change the fonts, change the size, and change the color based on your needs. Okay, and also tap over here and you can pick different variations. So I can have the weather with the time, with the date and all that stuff, or whatever I want from these widgets right here. Let's tap on this. Okay, so that's going to be up to you, and you can add additional widgets right here. So I can add some battery widgets right here. Let's see what else we have. I can add a clock or whatever. That's going to be all up to me. That might be a little redundant here, but you can have a dual clock if you want a clock from another city or country. But the big thing is these two shortcuts right here. So when you're done, you tap on done, and that applies to the actual lock screen. All right, so let's talk about home screen customization. We have some new options here. So anywhere on the screen, just press and hold in an empty area, and that's going to wiggle the display. And you can tap on edit. And one of the new things that we already had the widgets option, but now we can customize the app icons. So look at this. I can go dark, I can go automatic, or I can tint my icons to whatever color that I want. Okay, this is going to be all based on your needs, and I can make the icons slightly larger, as you can see, which removes the text, but I can have it larger. So that's one way to customize it. The other thing that I like is you can now have apps. Let me just exit this area, press and hold again. Now you can have apps anywhere on the screen. So if you have a gorgeous wallpaper, you can have a bunch of apps at the bottom here and just showcase that wallpaper. Or if I tap here and if I tap add a widget, let me just select one right here. For example, this one. And I can have it at the bottom here and even remove the application. So I can even have a widget only screen, and I can have the widgets down here. So this looks much better than what we used to have, which is this one right here. Additionally, if I press and hold, you can see that many of the widgets are resizable. So if I come here, I can resize this. I can resize this. And one more thing. If you have a widget like this clock widget here, look at what I can do. I'm going to tap on done, and I can press and hold, and I can tap this button, and that is going to transform that widget into a corresponding app shortcut. I can do the reverse. Press and hold, tap over here. I can convert the widget into its corresponding widget. Same with this one. Look at this weather application. I tap over here. Boom. Fantastic. Stock application. I can tap this one, get the largest one. Boom. Okay. So it depends on which size you want. Press and hold, and you can go from different sizes. Absolutely fantastic ways to customize. Let's move on. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. The first things to do on your iPhone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Drop them down below. For now, have a fantastic day.